Hi, my name is Aaron Bingea. I teach 7th and 8th grade math in Chicago Public Schools at Brentano Math Science Academy on the northwest side in Logan Square at a school that's made up of predominantly Puerto Rican and Mexican students. This past summer in the intensive session, I participated in the Number Line and Common Core seminar led by Roger Howe. And I developed a unit around placing rational numbers in the number line and adding and subtracting with them. I co-wrote that unit with my colleague Jeff Rossiter, who teaches in Chicago Public Schools as well. His unit focused more on the placement of rational numbers in the number line, whereas mine then took the understandings of his unit of placing rational numbers and dealt with how we view operating on the number line. By the time students get to my class in 7th and 8th grade, every year they present a lot of gaps in understandings and a lot of misconceptions on how to conceptualize numbers and how to conceptualize operating with them. Number sense is the biggest obstacle that I face with my students every year in the curriculum. And my curriculum currently doesn't have a remedial unit where I can, start the year off with covering these very fundamental concepts. So the unit that Jeff and I both collaborate on address these very foundational concepts that our students often lack and present a lot of problems throughout the rest of the curriculum. So we created a unit where students can once and for all view numbers and operations with clarity and with a unifying sense-making tool that is the number line. So whereas before students viewed numbers in all sorts of different ways and a lot of problematic ways, weren't able to properly conceptualize fractions and decimals, and adding and subtracting with negative numbers and fractions, whereas our unit wrapped all those concepts in one unifying way with the number line, so that once and for all we can clear up these misunderstandings. So my hope for the unit was for students to have a solid grasp of numbers, so that when we moved to grade level concepts, they weren't making mistakes and they weren't reaching unreasonable answers, and they would be able to make sense of the more abstract concepts that we cover in 7th and 8th grade, because they have a solid foundation in number finally. Now my students are talking about numbers in the same way and are using sound mathematical reasoning when they start justifying their answers. And in all the years that I've been teaching the 7th and 8th grade curriculum, my students have never been able to do that in such a clear and coherent way. What the summer intensive session provided me was a time to really examine the Common Core standards in the number system strand and see where I can help my students out in filling foundational gaps. And it gave me the time to really think about the number line and how it could be used to address those problems. Whereas before, I knew these problems existed, but I never had the time and the space and the content expertise to really address this problem. The Teacher Institute model differs from traditional professional development in my district is that Y&I treats us like intellectuals. And the Y&I model allows me to identify the problems in my classroom and create my own solutions to address my students' needs.